Hi, it's Rebecca Empathic Crow, and this is a message for Aquarius. So I am recording this in February. However, the energy could be coming in for March because that may be when we're posting it. But either way, this is for Aquarius, and readings are timeless. So it could be for any. We've got the Radiant Rider-Waite Smith deck that I'll be using for the tarot. There is this generic Love Oracle deck. Not necessarily a love reading, typically not, but it has some really good things where it identifies areas that we may need improvement and what's going on. And then we've got Amanda Lynn Ailsling's Inner Child Oracle. If there are any other decks that come through, I will list those in the description box. And my readings, the way I typically do them, sometimes it's past, present, future. Always future is possibilities and potentials, because nothing is set in stone. You have free will and the right to make a different choice. I also am somebody who I consider the work that I do, whether it's these readings or even when I worked in mental health, whatever it is that I do, as somebody who helps others walk through the shadows in order to come into the light. Doesn't mean we always stay there. Life happens, things happen, but we talk about some practical things that you can do to be able to move forward, or some things that you can consider. So if you see any of like my short posts, it's usually going to be things like energy shifts, soul alignment exercises, so the challenge and reframes. All of that content is because I want to be able to help others. I think even recently there was a couple of visuals and a video on boundaries. So if any of that resonates with you, and I hope it does, then you're welcome to enjoy the reading. I will try to put up timestamps. I'm trying to talk too fast because I want to get to the reading. And we'll go from there. Sometimes I do have a pattern how I do things. A lot of times I'm just doing it intuitively. So the cards, I may not even read them the way that you would see them in like a guidebook. I do have training on it, but I feel like each card has a different meaning for each person. So this is a general read. This is a collective read for focusing on the sign of Aquarius, whatever house that's in for you. But at the same time, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if it doesn't fit, there may be another reading, whether it's another one of your signs or another general reading that helps. So I hope that this is helpful to you. I have pre-shuffled these cards. I'm going to try to remember to not shuffle them so I don't take up as much time. We're doing pretty good. We're under 3 minutes with the intro. So what does Aquarius need to focus on right now? Or what is going on for Aquarius? Ooh, we got some healing we're doing. So 3 of Swords coming out. We've got, I'm going to try to turn this around to you. So again, if you've seen one of the other videos where I'm trying to let you see the cards, this is a weird setup for me. I'm still getting used to it. So we'll see how it goes. But the 3 of Swords, this doesn't mean it's reversed if it's reversed to me or whatever. It just means I'm setting it down so you can see it. So we got the 3 of Swords coming out. I also don't always do spreads. I typically don't. I usually just let the story come through. All right. So this is a time where you're trying to mend. You've got that 3 of Swords. It hurt. It took a lot out of you. And now you're focusing on recovery and rest. And I'm looking off to the side because I'm seeing like a hand with a heart, not to be graphic, but just literally just squeezing the heart. Like it wasn't just feeling like you were stabbed 3 times. It was feeling like your heart was crushed. I'm trying to remember to show it to you. With this King of Cups, I feel like this is you trying to get back into balance with your emotions. We've got this red ship in the background, and it's just interesting to see a red ship with red sails, and I feel like that's saying that part of this is you getting grounded. Notice that even with the cloak that the king is wearing, we have yellow and we have red. So we've got that solar plexus where you're working on releasing some of those anxieties, which if you've had your heart broken, whatever the situation is, a loss is anything. It can be a job, it can be a life circumstance, a family member, a situation, whatever it is for you. So it's getting back on your feet, gaining that confidence again. I see the fish, so that's making me think of Pisces, even though this is an Aquarius reading. And so again, I know cups are emotions, but it's really dealing with your emotions. Now notice that the green is down at the bottom here. And as I'm seeing that, it feels like you're putting your heart, that green heart chakra, on the bottom. You're like, And the red is up at the top. Look at that on the crown. We've got red up at the top. Like you're like, I'm guarding my heart. So this Aquarius, I feel like is where we're going with this reading, is that it's you being able to open back up and understand that you don't have to push your heart down. You can still have your heart here and it can still be open, but it's about setting those boundaries so that you don't feel like you're just open to everything and everyone. All right, let's get some more cards and kind of see where else we're going with that. Yeah, that King of Cups, look at his face. He just is very like you're very suspicious that it's going to happen again. Somebody's going to stab me in the Two of Swords. Somebody's going to stab me again. We get that blindfold on. We get the guard up with the two swords. The moon is up there at the top with things that feel like they're hidden. What if I don't see them? Those anxieties, worries about things. But at the same time, like she's on solid ground. There's no one around her. She's on solid ground. She's not tied up. The water is behind her. There's even another island behind her. Like there are opportunities, but you're blocking some of those opportunities, Aquarius, because you're so worried about what's happened in the past. And with her shoes, I don't know, I'm focused on the shoes today. She's got on yellow shoes, that solar plexus. So again, we may want to try to feel like if we are overthinking, if we're thinking ahead, we're planning ahead, then we're going to be prepared. And so that solar plexus is unbalanced. But it's about being confident in yourself and knowing that the things that have happened, it wasn't that you, I keep hearing dumb. You're not dumb. It wasn't that you were dumb. It wasn't that you weren't even paying attention. I'm just seeing like a heart, like the Grinch heart, where it's like grows 3 times. But your heart is so big, and I feel like for you, whoever this is, whatever placement you have, you went all in. Like you opened your heart, you were all in this. That's why it hurts so bad. That's why you're having to recover and you're like, nah, I'm going to push my heart down. I'm not going to do this. Is because you were all in and you felt blindsided. But there were signs, but you had the blindfold on. You didn't want to see them. And so it's understanding that you always had the discernment and intuition to be able to get through the situation. But sometimes we want something so badly that my husband says I use this word too much, but we gaslight our own selves. Like your intuition will be on point and you'll say, no, it's not that. It's not that. And I'm also hearing that part of it is not just that you were telling yourself things were different than they were, but because you wanted them to be so badly, you accepted less than what you really wanted. So it's hard to take some responsibility and accountability sometimes when things like this happen, and do it without blaming and shaming yourself, because you don't need to blame and shame yourself. Here's the Empress. Like you have the confidence, the groundedness, the playfulness. You know who you are. And you, right now I'm seeing like, even though the Empress may seem very sweet and innocent in a way in the card, that's kind of how I see her, but I'm seeing you as like not fully a temptress type thing, and this can be male or female. Tarot doesn't care about gender. I just heard Rico Suave, which was a song when I was a kid. Oh God, I can't get it out of my head now. All I hear is Rico Suave. Okay. So no, you're not a player. I heard, oh God, was it Biggie? Anyway, songs are coming through like crazy. So just to say, like you may even say to yourself, well, I was not innocent in this. So this is a relationship and that's okay. I was not innocent in this, you know, I knew what I was getting into, and that's probably true, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that it hurt any less. Like, I'm being called to this heart right here, with the white and the yellow in it. Like, you may not feel like you were that innocent in it, but at the same time, and it's interesting, we've got the white and yellow coming through. What is that about? We'll focus on that a little bit in a minute, or see if anything comes through. I just feel like that letting your guard down is a big piece of it. There's some white stars in her crown, and then we also have the white on her outfit. So it's kind of a balance between, like, I think sometimes we feel like, especially for females, not saying this has to be for a female, but especially for a female, we're expected to be attractive and desirable and things like that. But at the same time, don't be too much so, because then you're going to be judged. And so it's like, I feel like you felt like you had a balance. Like, here's the emotions. Here's some heart chakra colors. Like, she's just being all cool and calm, but your heart got into it and your emotions got tied up, and it became more than what you thought it was going to be. So again, this is why it hurts. All right, let's go forward a little bit. I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself. And so let's see, Aquarius, what comes forward more for you. I may move on to the love cards in just a moment. The King of Swords. So we've got the King of Cups and the King of Swords. So it's like you went through all these emotions, and now with the King of Swords, I feel like this is saying, nope, I'm just cutting it off. You know, I don't feel like I want to soften myself, because maybe that's where I feel like I got in trouble before, or things didn't work out. So I'm gonna cut it off. And if it's not X, Y, and Z, then it's just not gonna happen. Or I'm just gonna stay in this situation because I already know what to expect. So it's fine. It's fine. Like, there's a stubbornness that I feel, and when I look at the King's face, like, he definitely has stubbornness in his face. So it's, that balance is kind of the key, Aquarius. Finding the balance is going to be the key, and you can definitely find the balance, but right now you're just like, nope. Let's switch gears. Let's switch gears. Yeah. Well, bottom of the deck, the Four of Cups, like, whatever opportunities may or may not be coming to you, you're like, I'm not taking it. I'm not falling for that crap again. It's not going to happen. Like, you are determined here, Aquarius, that you are not going to be in this situation again. All right, let's see what comes out with the love cards. What are the things that are holding you back? What are the things that are making it more difficult for you? All right, we got quite a number of them. So we'll set this down for now. Intuition, heart song, telepathy, and inner knowing. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the reading, 1313 on the clock, that I said you have a strong intuition, and your intuition is good. And look, there are hearts in the heart song. Like, you know what your heart wants, and you recognize when those needs are being met. But sometimes any of us are going to push that aside because we feel comfortable, 1333, or we feel good. We feel like, I don't want this to change. Like, I don't know what other new things are going to be, so I'm going to stay in this. Memories, reminiscing, dwelling, bittersweet. And some of it was good. It wasn't all bad. There were things that you liked about it, but at the same time, it wasn't exactly what you wanted it to be. So that's hard, because when we know that there are things that are good, or when it's good, it's really, really good. When it's not, it's horrible. We're going to focus on, but there were some good things. And what if in the future, if I do something different, or if I ask for something different, if I'm with someone different, it's just not going to be the same. Spying, social network, information, ways. Are you keeping tabs on this person? Or are they keeping tabs on you? I just keep hearing over-involved, 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 over-involved. Can't let go. Over-involved and can't let go. But then we have running, ghosting, disappearing, invisible. So I feel like because we've got the heartbreak here and the blocking off and the King of Swords and then not wanting any other options, I don't feel like you're the one that's kind of like looking back. As I'm saying that, and I'm just looking out the window right now, but I'm not really looking at anything. I feel like you're, like, I don't feel like you're spying. I feel like you're trying to not go down that rabbit hole. Does that make sense? Like, it feels like this may even be something that you think, oh, I think I want to check their socials. I want to see what's going on. But you're trying to not do that. You don't want to seem creepy is what I keep hearing. Not creepy. But like this person, I feel like they ghosted. They ran. They ghosted. They disappeared. They're invisible. Now they may come back, but it's like they're gone long enough for you to start feeling like you're distancing yourself, and then they're back. Let's see. Anything else coming from here? Oh, geez. Beauty. Charming, graceful, kind-hearted. And with that, it's like I said, like I see them kind of coming back in and they charm their way back in and your defenses go down again, even though you don't want them to. And that's what it feels like. It feels like that it's like when you stop, because I was like, it doesn't feel like you're spying. When you stop even like checking in on them, then they're coming back. That's what it is. Because I was like, they're not spying. They're not being creepy or whatever. That's what it is. When you start finally putting up that boundary and saying, nope, I'm not going to do this because they've already ghosted and whatever. Ugh, my fingernails, I don't have a lot, but anyway. Then they start feeling your distance. When they start feeling your distance, now here they come back in like, hey, look at how awesome this could be. Like, I miss you. And so it puts you in this place where you start, dang it, reminiscing about what had happened. Let's get this one off the floor. I can't pause it. Sitting in this type of position, sometimes I'll pause it, but I got short arms. I got a long torso, short arms, guys. So I'm just going to pick it up off the floor. It's going to take a second because it fell further away from me, but it'll be okay. All right. So rejection, abandoned, dismissed, irrational fear. So this person keeps you in this situation where you feel like that it's a back and forth. You never know what's going on. And then you end up feeling rejected, hurt, and abandoned. So we're going to go to the inner child oracle and see, Aquarius, what can you focus on instead? What do you need to heal from this? What's going to help you the most? We'll keep shuffling and see. All right. Be true to who you are. That's 5, which is change. Fear will not stop you from shining. So it's letting go of the fear that's coming in and bringing you back to that situation. Understanding that you don't have to go back to that situation. Yes, it's kind of scary not knowing what these other options are going to look like and if it's going to be better, worse, the same. So 18, which breaks down to a 9, it's okay to be misunderstood. Perception is not always based on truth. So even if people say you're cold or you're whatever, like they're projecting, I'm seeing it like a mirror, like they're projecting onto you whatever it is that they fear, whatever it is that they put off. And so they're creating these situations. Like I said, even when we talked about the spying and running, it was like a projection, a transference of energy and emotions, like wanting for you to want them and to be looking up on them and checking in on them and giving them that attention, but then they're not giving you that attention. And then when they see that you're not giving them that attention, then they're coming back into the story. So Aquarius, I feel like that's pretty much the full story for you. Just, you know, be true to yourself and understand that it's okay if people misunderstand you. It's really about you understanding yourself and finding the people who are going to understand you, whether that's a relationship, friendship, work, whatever. But this feels like relationship or potential relationship. It's finding people where you can be yourself and you don't feel like you have to always guess what's going on, because they will communicate with you and communicate with you appropriately. I hope that was helpful, and if it was, please feel free to like, share, subscribe. I love for the messages to get where they need to go, and I definitely want to continue creating this content. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and I hope to see you again soon.